Hey man, he's 16 years old, doing great in school, except for the fact he got on $400 shoes. Other than that, this young man's doing great. And for all I know, he's doing better than I think he is because he got $400 shoes that he paid for, which is awesome. So anyway, I figured I'll put him on blast for that. So, Larry, what we talking about today? Because I think it's gonna be some serious, heavy stuff. Because I think we have to be careful here that, and again, we're not gonna, dwell on it, but this stuff with Roe v. Wade is very important. It's taking a lot of everyone's attention, and what we want to talk about is making sure that we don't lose momentum on the things that we gained as it relates to Black doing business. So we don't. Again, we're all supportive of trying to make sure that women's rights are protected. We also want to make sure that we don't lose track of opportunities for Black folks.
Absolutely, Malcolm. Well, today we've asked Senator Claiborne, who is the author of a piece of legislation. I'm going to let him tell you kind of how we got there, because he's the author of, he saw something that was wrong, and instead of just saying it was wrong, he decided to do something about it. And what he did was wrote legislation. And this legislation is being debated and used as a tool, in my opinion, to undermine minority participation, to undermine the intent of the law. And so I want him to give us a little background, Senator, on this piece of legislation, how it came about, and give us a kind of a high level overview of it. And then let's talk about, what's going on.
I appreciate you, Malcolm, and this is very important because going back to the founding of this country, no taxation without representation. And so minorities should be able to play a significant role in the procurement process in the state of Illinois. And there should be some accountability and some compliance on behalf of the state to ensure that that's the case. So going back, we looked and did an analysis of what we believe some of the shortcomings were. So one of the things, and since then, the Black Caucus and one of their four pillars has increased goals. So we look at starting off with ILCS 575/4/4A. It establishes aspirational goals of 30%. Now, I haven't seen any procurement that's been put out for 30%. That's one. And again, why? And it even breaks it down even more. 16% awards to businesses owned by minorities, 10% to businesses owned by women, and 4% to businesses with a disability. And it breaks the categories out: insurance services, investment management services, IT, accounting, architectural and engineering services, and legal services. And then it goes even further. For F6 states that the status of the utilization services shall be discussed at each of the regular meetings. I challenge anybody on here to go on the website, back to the BEP meetings of the council, and see if there's a category on there, that line item on the agenda that sets out time to discuss. So the next sentence says, time shall be allotted for the council to receive, review, and discuss the progress of services owned by minorities, women, and persons with disabilities. Now, you know why that's significant, Larry? Because it's not happening, and guess what? They have a lawyer on the board.
Yes, lawyers.
Represent that council.
Yes.
They're lawyers that do. I challenge anybody to go back and look at it. And then it goes even further. It says, if after reviewing such evidence, the council finds that there is or has been discrimination against a specific group, race, or sex, the council shall establish a shelter market or adjust existing shelter markets tailored to address the council's specific findings.
Wow.
Now, again, all of that, there's a lawyer.
So let me ask you a question. So wait a minute. So Senator, this is a good point. So the law is clear on what they're supposed to do, and what I mean, and I don't want to be again. I don't want to. So we clear on what the law is saying they should do. They shall do. What happens when they're not? Because the easiest thing for me to point out is trying to speak at a BEP council meeting under the new Diversity and Inclusion Commission, which I'm going to tell you right now that my view is all they've done is move all of the people that work for BEP and put them under this commission, and they haven't changed not in one thing. So all of that, passing that law, right? The governor signing that law. Ain't nobody changed any of their actions, not anything. There's not one action that's changed other than we've given somebody else, some more people, some jobs to make over $100,000 a year. And they ain't did nothing to change the policy or practice of how the state is engaging, minority businesses to participate on contracts. Not one thing.
Well, Malcolm, let me say this. I'm going to go back to the senator, is that this new commission, one of the great champions that is on that commission is our good friend Bruce Montgomery, and I think that this commission is new. We understand that, but I'm going to pass the ball back because I want to listen to Senator Claiborne. Then we're going to get into the weeds on this issue in terms of not just talk about it, but what should we do in order to correct it. But go ahead, Senator.
Well, first of all, I think there has to be some kind of discussion where the commissioner, chairman of the commission sits down with those that are interested. If that's not the case, then I would suggest go to our higher source, the governor's office, and see if that can be resolved. If it's not resolved, then we have to go through what African Americans have had to do all along. That's challenging in the courts. You can't sit down and get some resolution. You have to challenge it in the courts. But I lay all that out because over the course of my time in the legislature, it always came to me by CPOs and agency directors that were following the law. We can't do certain things because this is what the law says. Mm-hmm. And constantly, what I heard, people that look like us, that don't look like us, said, we're afraid we're going to get sued. But what it was, they were never afraid that it was going to be African Americans or Latinos suing them. They were always afraid of the crime suing them.
I don't even think they were afraid, Senator. I think that was just the BS they said to us.
No. I can tell you. It was the same group. They were always afraid. If you look at any laws in the state of Illinois, the crime contractors were required to prove any. Maybe they got behind me. Maybe they submitted a utilization plan, but we don't review past performance.
Right.
We don't review their history.
Right.
If they did, if they're lowest responsible bidder, more than likely they're gonna get a contract. We have to prove everything. I've gone through being certified. You have to. I felt like I always had to show a snapshot of the picture of my ancestors getting off the boat. Prove that I was African American.
Right. Prove you black. Right. But let me ask you a question. So let me ask the question. So, when they say they're scared of being sued. So here I am, a person that was a director of Central Management Services, right? The agency that used to house all of that. We were sued all the time. Union sued us all the time. Everybody, it didn't change policy. It didn't change policy when we were trying to do furlough days. And people wanted to sue over that because we thought it was in the best interest of the state. And so we did it. I feel like anything that tries to improve black people's position, nobody wants to fight for that legally. I mean, think about it. You're the governor of Illinois. You're okay. You're J.B. Pritzker. and somebody sues the state because they're saying you're trying to give these black people more contracts than they're supposed to get, or give them more percentage of contracts than they're supposed to get, we're suing you. If I'm JB Pritzker, I'm going to fight that, and then at least black people know I'm fighting for y'all, right? I'm fighting to make, so instead, they do nothing, we get nothing, and then they tell us it's not our fault, y'all. You know, the law, man, you know, they're going, I mean, come on. This is like something that you got to really be, you know, they have to think we're stupid.
Hey, Senator, let me ask you. Go ahead, Senator. Now, I want to make sure that we.
I just believe that they look at the past and say that we have not challenged the system.
So we haven't done our job yet. Okay.
That's the point I'm making. We have not challenged the system. We've changed the laws. You know, it gets back to one of the things Larry says, and I can try to get to that point. So under 8I, the whole intention under 8I was to create some accountability based upon the past. So two things that have happened in the past. One is, even though the law said 20% prior to one of the pillars that passed by the Black Caucus last year, the real challenge was, how do you award $100 million contracts with no goals?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Even though the law said, guess what happened? Nobody sued. So guess what? When it comes up again, these crimes are saying, why are you holding us accountable for creating goals now? And then we look through and we see AI says renewal. State agencies and public institutions of higher education shall all existing contracts prior to the time of renewal to determine if the contract goal is being met by the prime vendor. That's not happening. I can tell you, I just got involved in a couple of situations. It's not happening. B, review all existing contracts prior to, above it, shall review all existing contracts prior to the time of renewal to determine if the contract goal should be increased based on market conditions and availability of firms certified pursuant to this act. Again, review all, not some, all existing contracts. Now, when I talked to someone the other day, they said this doesn't apply to a contract with no goals. No says all. But then there is one that says review all existing contracts with no goal, no contract goal, to determine if a goal can be established.
Oh, I love this, man. I love this. This is exactly what's happening at the Department of Revenue with their collection contract, $100 million. Literally, this is the garbage that these people are saying. They are trying to find anywhere in the law that they don't have to change their practice. And it sounds to me what you just said is the law got it covered on in both places. All contracts and then contracts with no goal. So what other contracts are there?
You're exactly right. But the point I'm making is when you talk to the lawyers, they say, well, lawyers interpret that differently. Well, what about the lawyers interpreting 4A, 4F?
Yeah.
What about those interpretations?
They
go silent on them.
See, okay, listen.
Or F6, they go silent because, again, what I see, and I told them, what I see is when it comes to taking or believing that there's an opportunity, the law is different. They're afraid somebody's going to challenge it. But they're not going to afraid somebody's going to challenge the fact that they never have goals, aspirational goals at 30% or 20%. They don't worry about it. But when time comes to create real opportunities for minority businesses, then there's always a different interpretation.
Right. They want to change rules. Listen, we're going to call in, y'all, 773-591-1690. We on with Senator Claiborne, talking about how they're trying to put the switch on this.
The Wake Up, powered by the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Sponsored in part by Equity Partners, specializing in government IT solutions, project management, diverse, reliable solutions. Learn more at www.techniquepartners.net. The National BCC and the IOBCC's annual convention. This year, we've teamed up with the National Black Chamber to bring you a powerful program. Enjoy exciting and enlightening workshops, one-on-one corporate matchmaking sessions, dynamic panels with high-profile guest speakers, and so much more. Space is limited, so don't wait to the last minute. Visit ilbcc.org to register today. Join us live on Facebook at Wake All the Way Up. Enjoy past shows and other great archive content on the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe.
So, Senator,
Right on. We back.
Let me say this, Malcolm, to the senator. So here's what I need the audience to understand. The senator wrote that legislation. He is an attorney. He was majority leader of the Senate, and he wrote the legislation with legislative intent. And what they're doing, they're using that because there's a little bit of word in there to say that the agency shall encourage. So, Senator, I want you to touch base on what the loophole is, what they're trying to use. And I really want the audience to really listen carefully to what the problem is and how they interpret what's in their best interest to make their job easier. But we get, hoodwinked, bamboozled, and shut out at the same time. And this happens so often, and we got to hold someone accountable. They want our votes, but they don't want to do nothing for us. So, Senator, I'll stop. I want to listen to you. Break that down for our audience.
So the intent, again, was to have renewal and compliance, right? To evaluate prior to renewal what was happening, whether there was existing contracts or whether or not the current vendors were meeting existing goals and contracts, and whether they were meeting the goals. So we put this provision in there. One was to review all contracts at least 6 months prior to. And if it was determined that they had no goals in the market and based upon increase in certified members, then you would add goals. Or if you chose not, if the vendor was also, when there were no goals, you would go to the prime and say, hey, we encourage you to add goals. If you don't add goals, then we're going to rebid this contract. That was the intent all along, because why would you review contracts with no team behind it? And this was negotiated with CMS. CMS knew what the intent was because we sat down and discussed it over months. It was Ben Jones, the lawyer was Ben Jones, who ultimately became deputy director, assistant director of CMS. So CMS knew what the intent was. The intent was made known on the floor. It was always understood that that 6-month provision would be used to increase goals, to encourage minds, and if they chose not to add goals to it, then we will rebid it.
So, Senator, let me ask this question. Isn't it like if you find a criminal, the police catches a criminal, and a criminal who's in the very act, and the police says, okay, we can take you to jail or not take you to jail. You can decide which you want to go to jail or you want to be set free. That's fundamentally what they're saying here, is that when the goal, if the agency encourages and the prime contractor decides not to adhere to the goal, then they just say, okay, then we keep moving on. They don't say, well, guess what? You can't have the contract. We're going to rebid it. They stop there. And it's just ridiculous that anyone would interpret it any other way than that. It befuddles me to think that this is what we're still fighting for when it's so obvious that, and these are multi-million-dollar contracts. Let me give you an example real quick with the IRS, the state IRS, which some of us and a lot of us may have paid too little into taxes. Then they go to collections. all the firms that are selected, 5 firms were selected, and all 5 were white firms. They had no goals on it whatsoever. We asked to put a goal on it. They put a goal on it, 6%. They came back, and the agency said 6%. The prime contractors, which were all white prime contractors who are calling you to get that money because Black people owe taxes, Hispanic people owe taxes. And they fundamentally said, well, since we encouraged them and they didn't want to do it, that's it. And they signed a contract and kept on moving. Now, we had Black contractors who are in debt collection, and they never signed a contract with them. This is outrageous to me, and this is happening not just in this case, but it's happening on a consistent basis around the board. Black people need to be alarmed about this. This is a serious breach of government responsibility, in my honest opinion.
Let me add to this, Senator. So, because I think you're right, they haven't been challenged. So, if we were to challenge, right, because we should be, Larry's right, we should be upset about this because it's been happening. It's been happening after the law was changed to specifically tell them, stop doing what you're doing, do it this way now, and they're still not. Who are the people, if you are going to challenge? Who are we challenging? Are we challenging the chief procurement officer? Are we challenging the commission now for diversity and inclusion, who's supposed to be in charge? Are we challenging the BEP, the department, or BEP, the council? Or are we challenging the agencies? Who are we challenging?
Whoever signed the contract, or going to sign the contract, should be challenged.
Okay.
That particular, in my mind, that particular agency has not complied with the laws that the General Assembly passed and the governor signed.
So it should be the agency directors.
So we had 3 points, Senator, that you brought out. Number one, the Black Caucus and their pillars, the 3 pillars, increased the BEP participation from 20 to 30%. And as you stated, and as I see, is that I don't see anything coming out with 30% go or 20% go. I'm seeing 5 and 6 and 7% goes across the board. Now, people are going to argue the rationale behind that. Then you mentioned that at every BEP council meeting, that there should be an opportunity to take a look and hear about any discrimination. And that if you find discrimination, you shall establish a sheltered market. I am not aware, and I sit on the council, that we have any time set aside. Matter of fact, we just recently had public comments, and the leader of the BEP Council, which is the new commission, said that you can make no comments, ask no question for clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, you're at war here. What they're doing to you and what they're doing to Black business and other minority business is wrong. It's not right. And as soon as you speak up or you start fighting for the right things, just like Charlotte Roberts did, they want to get you off the commission. They want to silence your voice. Right. They want to find anything they can do. And the same thing.
But they don't want to do their job, Larry. They don't want to do the job. They want you to be quiet and not make any waves. It's ridiculous for those people to be on that commission or to be on the BEP council or anything and to be angry when people bring them problems. That's their job. That's like being a fireman and getting mad because people are calling you because their house on fire. That's your job. You know what I'm saying? It don't make any sense.
The other issue, too, is what about the CPO?
Yes, because they're supposed to be monitoring all of this.
How are they approving contracts that have less than the aspirational goals?
You know what? The CPO will tell you. The CPO will tell you that all of the SPOs that work for her are independent. So when they do stuff, she can't be responsible for all the stuff they do or don't do, which is ridiculous.
But you know, the problem with that is, and this is another issue that I've recognized, right, over the course of my almost 24 years in the Senate, the agencies supposedly know the weaknesses, but they never come to you and say, I can do a better job, legislator, if you make this change. Then when you go to them and say, I want to make the change, they know it exists, but they're afraid. They're afraid to talk to you.
Right, because everybody, first of all, there's always retribution. Like the state of Illinois, people, this is, bureaucrats, administrators that get upset when you say that there's something going on in their department that's not right. Instead of saying, thank you for pulling my coat and telling me about something that I can take a look at doing better, they will, to Larry's point, they'll make sure you can't speak at the VEP council meeting. They'll make sure you can't ask questions so that it can be on the record. And then they will put up, or, they'll put up other people. Well, you should go talk to that department. Nobody wants to be the person responsible. So what's really interesting for me is, making sure that the General Assembly looks at the annual BEP report. They don't even have a standard for the BEP report. Every year they get to change it so that the numbers look better. No one has been able to answer how IDOT reached 4,000% of their goal.
And yet has the poorest performance when it comes to minority participation.
Exactly.
And ladies and gentlemen, like I say, it's damn near criminal if you don't, it angers me because I see what they're doing to my people. And we need to wake up, like the radio show. That's what we call the show, Wake Up, because we need to wake up and fight for what we deserve. Even with Black media, there's a contract out there for 10% of the spend going to Black media. It has been signed, hadn't gotten to the Senate yet, and it hasn't gotten on the governor's desk. There was sheltered markets that we haven't done anything about. These are things that hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that should be going to people of color that were not happening. And until we hold someone accountable for it, ladies and gentlemen, they will continue. And our kids will suffer because we didn't have the courage, the intestinal fortitude to do what we should do to protect our own interests. They brought us here as slaves. We made enormous contributions to this country, and we still got to fight to get treated fairly. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired, quite frankly. It's tiring work constantly, trying to deal with. And anytime you speak out, people want, what time is this here's renewal coming up? Because now they want to try to get rid of you. Right. If they can, they want to get rid of you so they can silence a voice. So the community has no voice whatsoever. I got a question real quick. It says, Senator, should we pursue, what legal course of action we pursue legally to challenge the current system of MBE contracts and participation? And please repeat the bill number.
Well, one of the things that has to happen, obviously, and I discussed it, you have to start at the beginning, right? Start with the meetings. So the BEP Act is 30 ILCS 575/4. That's the area that talks about the percentages. But the BEP Act itself is 30 ILCS 575. And so to finish answering your question, it starts with the beginning. If you are not reviewing what's supposed to be happening in terms of establishing aspirational goals, it starts right there. Because you can never correct it if you don't start off correct. You can never reach the designation that you're going if you don't start down the correct pathway. And it's even interesting if you pull up Google Illinois BEP. One of the first things it says is Business Enterprise Program for businesses owned by minorities, women, and persons with disabilities is committed to fostering an inclusive, equitable, and competitive environment that will support underrepresented businesses, increase their capacity, grow their revenue, and enhance their credentials.
Can't get no clearer than that.
That's just words on a paper. There's no implementation. There's no commitment to doing that. And you have people in place that won't even follow the basic law, but when it's time to go back and create and enforce opportunities that will increase and follow these three tenets, then the law is not fair to support it.
Hey, listen, y'all. We're going to take some calls when we get back. 773-591-1690. More with Senator Claiborne.
The Wake Up is brought to you by the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, sponsored in part by Camelot, Illinois, Powered Possibilities. Techway Partners, specializing in government IT solutions and project management. Diverse, reliable solutions. Learn more at techwaypartners.net.
All right, we back. I mean, so Larry, I think you hit it right on the head. You know, what the legal opportunities for us, or the legal path for us to take to really push this, I think needs to be our discussion. With the senator and kind of leading it there. But we got a bunch of folks on the line waiting to ask some questions.
I know they are, Max. Let me answer this real quick. I think we ought to consider, Senator, one, holding, at the highest level, people responsible, because people want our votes, but they don't want us to participate. We need to be clear. We need to get to the governor to have conversations about these issues and hold people accountable who are blocking Black people. You cannot win an election without Black people. Black people ought to stop giving their votes when they're not doing the things they're supposed to do for us. Until we learn that, guys, they will pimp us, use us, and take advantage of us. And that's as plain as I can keep it. And I'm comfortable because I serve as a national chairman, state president, and it's my job to speak power with the truth. My mentor was Dr. Arthur Fletcher, the father of affirmative action. I have an obligation to fight for Black people and Black business. And it's so important for us to do this and keep doing it. So I just want to say to everyone is that maybe we should have a class action lawsuit, Senator Claiborne. We should raise some money and get us a legal firm, and we should sue, because they obviously are not afraid of anything else. We should raise money and have a class action lawsuit and hold people accountable. If we can have conversation and get it done and fix it, these are quick fixes. It don't take a lot to correct and follow the law. Just like at the BEP Council, no opportunity for us to take a look at discrimination and correct it and do sheltered market. It's a tragedy, guys. It's like a massacre of the Black people economically. So, Michael, take some calls. Let's see what our audience is saying.
Absolutely. Good morning, Karen. You're on.
Good morning. This is Karen from Beautiful Women. Number one, I want to thank the Creator, because He said even your desires will be answered when you work the kingdom. We are all lawyers. A lawyer is a person who studies and does research. You got to understand what the word contract means. It is our time, and there's a bunch of lawsuits. But we got to say one thing: we are all responsible for what we're not seeing, because many of us have been coerced to take these positions without even reading what the position requires. So it is time for us. It's lawsuit time. Individually, collectively, lawyers. We're all lawyers. It just means to study. An attorney is different. You take the bar in the community, but it is our turn. But we got to understand this. It's not their fault, darling. It's our fault.
I'm with that.
We a long time ago. If we continue to believe in things that we don't understand, then we will suffer. We're suffering because we don't read. We don't pay attention. We just pay attention to a check. But America is a business. And how do they trip you up? Through their schools and their jobs. Education ain't never come with anything. Making money ain't never been hard work. We follow the system. And we get in these political positions, and we are the ones pushing the buck. So yes, gentlemen, I thank you. It's not been so hard to do. I ask everybody, go read, go study. There's plenty of lawsuits. Remember what the word contract means. Understand, when we were working in the field, they were creating words.
I heard that.
I will tell you, you have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right, everything you say can and will be held against you. Just hold it against them.
Right on, Karen.
About to get captured by his own game. And it's time for us to intelligently come in there with, and this is what we need to speak. We speak too much other crap.
Right on, Karen.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, sister. Right on,
Amen,
right on.
sister. Amen.
Hey,
I like that energy.
hey, Karen ain't playing. I mean, it's some very good points. She makes some very good points. Let me go to our next one we have here. Brother Brown.
All right, accidentally what I hear, accidentally on purpose. And that's what's going on as far as those contracts. What I hear, what I've seen, to try to get the ideal contract is they get you all those committees, look at your grandmama's credit, and then say you don't have one more piece of paper. Meanwhile, you got black folks there who are part of that information. You're holding it because you're in a fraternity member or sorority sister, or they're holding it because they didn't get the contract. Now, what that lady said is correct. I'm saying it like this. A scared man can't think and a just man won't work. And when I today, I read Frederick Douglass's poem, a speech, should the Negro celebrate the 4th of July. Some of this that we're doing, we're guilty of. Some of this we'll let happen, we're guilty of. And our children look at us as hypocrites, and then they riot, and then all of a sudden we got the white folks' attention because they know we're burning America up, and they can get to us again. So, as shoot is nice. It also sounds with the word class. You have to be informed. And when you want to get off the radio today, everybody who's listening need to have a kitchen table meeting and inform them of what it means to your father, your mother, your uncle, and the people who's working down the street. These folks have never been different. Folks painted black. We got a different spirit. Let's go for it and fight on what we need, guys.
Right on, Brother Brown. Right on.
Let Wally Muhammad in.
Wally, Mr. Muhammad. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Greetings to Chairman and President Larry Ivory, to the esteemed Senator, and to the listening family. I'm going to be very brief with this. You got a hot button topic this morning, and it's time to be angry because what is happening is directly consequential or directly in sequence to the violence that's taking place among our young people right now. If you deprive us of equal opportunity with law, and if you don't allow black businesses to bring on young people to work, how in the hell do you expect us to sit back and take this? What do you want me to tell my son? Hold on, son. We're going to file a lawsuit. We'll get it straight. That's insanity. How much longer are we going to keep looking for justice from a people who have no justice in them for us at all? We should be past angry. We should be looking to get us out of this way of thinking that's got us functioning as slaves. This is where we are. And if you don't like that, then go and burn your Bible, because that's what your Bible teaches you about separation. God never said integrate. We keep integrating, and you keep getting kicked in the teeth. Now, some of you don't like that. Some of you want to be quiet and you want to get along, and then you have a good talk, and then you double back and get a contract because you're a go-between. And hell with you in that. Our babies are angry, brothers, and it ain't time for no damn lawsuit, some legislation or some policy. My teachers said politics without economics is simple without something. Get rid of these Negroes in Springfield to start. Kick this governor square off in his backside. And if that won't work because it won't work, then I ask you, brothers, you esteemed brothers, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to tell our babies? What do you want us to say, Brother Malcolm, Chairman Ivory? What do you want us to tell our children? Because we're running out of things to tell them. Like the brother said, we're beginning to look like hypocrites. I'm going to hang up and listen
right on.
to the conversation. Thank you, brother.
Right on, Wally. Right on. Hey, I mean,
I'm gonna pass that to Senator Claiborne and you, Malcolm.
Well, we got a couple more calls. We're gonna let the Senator get the closing word before we call. We got a couple more on here. Let me see.
My people have been led astray by black leadership. White neighbors are getting private security. We need the Muslim FOI to protect our community in Inglewood and Roseland and all the high crime areas.
Right on. Thank you, Mama D. Hey, we do. That is a big issue here in Chicago. You know, folks are getting private security and all of this stuff. It feels a little weird. We have another call on there. I think this has been on for a while. Good morning, Hillary. Okay, maybe that wasn't one. All right. Hope.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My comments are pretty much on the line of what you've heard. You got me going in circles. If I were a dog, you got me chasing my tail. As a black business, if I want to do business with the state, you tell me to hurry up and get certified. That's an additional cost. Once I hurry up and get certified, then I hurry up and wait. And at the end of the day, I get nothing. And now it seems the solution you're suggesting is one of legal, pursue legal options. But that too requires a cost. Whether it's a class action suit, the cost is borne by the law firm, or a suit brought by the businesses that have to be funded. I'm going in circles, guys. You got to help me more than that. As a black business, I'm already in the corner with these additional certification costs, let alone trying to do business in my area. You got to help me more than what you're doing, guys. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Right on.
Brother, I would like to ask you, what do you suggest?
No, he hung up. But no, you know what, Senator, take this time because we got a couple of minutes, but just take a minute and tell folks why the legal path is important. I understand the frustration that they're talking about, right? Because I think we know that even the legal path isn't guaranteed. But, you know, it is something that has more teeth than us being on the radio, right? So maybe take a minute to kind of answer, just, you know, giving them some focus on kind of their frustration and what they can do.
Hey, Senator, before you speak, one of the things I say to we have the power to do is that there is time where election or where we vote. People who want to get reelected need to listen and need to address these issues and address them quickly. Or we ought to withhold our vote, or we ought to cast our vote for something else, someone else. That's real simple. They'll understand that. They'll get that if they don't get nothing else. So, Senator, I'll stop, let you kind of lead this with your wisdom and understanding. And we didn't get a chance to talk about the convention coming up, but we're going to do that next Saturday. And but go ahead, Senator Claiborne. We're going to give you the final comments before we close out.
Well, and I'll say this. I understand the frustration. I spent hours and hours and years and decades trying to correct this. So I've been engaged in this for a significant part of my life. And being trained as a lawyer and reviewing history, the legal process in some instances has been fair to us and has allowed us to get some names. But also, I think the policy is just as important too. But I definitely think that going to the court system, we are able to hold up these contracts. We're able to rebid, get things done much sooner than letting it continue to move forward. So there has to be a concerted effort to stop these contracts, as well as holding those individuals accountable for not making sure that this program is implemented in the way that grows revenue, enhances capacity, and increases capacity and enhances credentials. We need to stop these contracts right now. There's a legal process to do that.
Senator, as we closing up, thank you.
Hey, Malcolm, let me say this. Here's the thing we need to do. CPOs and everyone gets confirmed. We need to exercise our ability not to confirm
Block
people.
everybody until they get it right.
Confirmed. If they're not going to get it right and fix it, you don't get
Right
confirmed. Matty Hunter's on that collection process.
That's right. Senator, thank you for your time. Trinidad, I hope you listening, brother. You the future. You're gonna have to pick up this fight. And Larry, how we do it?
Hey, ain't no stopping us now, man.
We on the move. Y'all have a happy 4th of July.
Wake up. Brought to you by Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce.
Good show, fellas.